How does a quiet, terrified kid who couldn't even swim become the apex predator of special operations? And more importantly, what was the exact, horrifying moment in Iraq that forced him to walk away from the SEAL teams forever? Stick around, let's peel back the layers. Born in 1984 in Los Angeles to South Korean immigrants, Jonny's childhood was an absolute gauntlet. His parents were working class. His mother ran a small retail store working grueling hours to keep them afloat, while his father operated with extreme, iron-fisted authority. Growing up alongside his younger brother, Jonny faced a highly volatile home environment. The dynamic with his father was completely fear-based, creating a house filled with constant tension. He was carrying heavy emotional gear before he even hit high school. Let's fast forward to 2002. Jonny is 18 years old. The tension at home reached a devastating crisis. A severe domestic incident involving his father and armed responders. At 18, his world was entirely shattered. He was a quiet kid with no confidence. But instead of letting that adversity crush him, he used it as a catalyst. He walked into a recruiter's office and enlisted in the Navy. He didn't want to just serve. He wanted to find the hardest, most unforgiving brotherhood on Earth to completely rebuild his identity. He needed BUD/S. Now, let's shift the timeline to 2006. Jonny Kim is 22 years old. He has survived the extreme attrition rate of Hell Week and earned his trident. He is posted up in Ramadi, Iraq, as a combat medic and sniper with SEAL Team 3, Task Unit Bruiser. Let us be honest about the tactical environment of Ramadi in 2006. It was the absolute epicenter of urban chaos. And look at the heavy hitters Jonny was doing the dirty work alongside. His task unit commander was Jocko Willink. The sniper providing overwatch on the roof next to him was Chris Kyle. Jonny was operating in a unit of absolute legends. He was the perfect operator, a Silver Star recipient. So why did he leave? What makes a Tier 1 asset at the absolute peak of his operational capability just walk away? The answer lies in two catastrophic firefights that altered his biological programming forever. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened on that roof in Ramadi in just a minute, and how it directly led to him hacking the admissions system at Harvard. Keep watching. To answer the question I just posed, what exactly happened on that roof that changed his programming forever? Jonny was there when his close friend and teammate, Ryan Job, sustained a devastating impact from incoming fire. Jonny, as the medic, did everything in his power, applying extreme trauma care under fire to keep Ryan alive. Not long after, another brother, Mark Lee, made the ultimate sacrifice in a grueling engagement. For a 22-year-old operator, this was the ultimate system override. Despite all his Tier 1 training, despite his tactical precision, he experienced the absolute helplessness of not being able to save his brothers. As an analyst looking at this is where most operators break. The trauma becomes a heavy anchor. But Jonny Kim didn't break. The helplessness he felt in Iraq became the extreme fuel for his next mission. But let's be logical for a second. How does a guy whose primary skill is neutralizing targets convince the admissions board at Harvard Medical School that he belongs in a surgical ward? Going from Ramadi to an Ivy League campus is a system shock most people can't survive. I'm going to show you exactly how he hacked that academic system in a moment. And trust me, Harvard was just a stepping stone to something far more extreme. Stay with me. Next up, the timeline shifts to 2012. Answering how he executed that impossible academic pivot, Jonny applied the exact same Tier 1 discipline to his textbooks. Jonny is 28 years old. He uses a military commissioning program to earn his degree in mathematics at the University of San Diego, graduating summa cum laude. But he wasn't done. At age 32, in 2016, this former door kicker graduated from Harvard Medical School. Let's pause and appreciate the sheer cognitive flexibility here. Going from a combat zone to an Ivy League medical ward requires a completely different operating system. But wait. Earlier I promised you that Harvard was just a stepping stone to something far more extreme. If Harvard Medical School sounds like the ultimate peak, you won't believe what he applied for next. The program he entered at age 33 has an acceptance rate that makes SEAL training look like a summer camp. Stick with me, because this final pivot is what makes Jonny Kim a historical anomaly. Fast forward to 2017. Jonny Kim is 33 years old. Here is the reveal to that impossible acceptance rate. While doing his medical residency, he applies to NASA. Let's look at the statistics. Over 18,300 highly qualified engineers, pilots, and scientists applied for Astronaut Group 22. NASA selected exactly 12 people, an acceptance rate of 0.06%. Jonny Kim was one of them. Why does NASA want a Navy SEAL doctor? Because space exploration is the ultimate hostile environment. The psychological profile required to survive freezing underwater demolitions and intense urban combat is surprisingly identical to the profile required to sit on top of a controlled kinetic launch into Earth's orbit. NASA doesn't just need scientists. They need operators who will not panic when the oxygen system fails in a vacuum 250 miles above Earth. Today, pushing 40 years old, Jonny is assigned to the Artemis program, waiting for his mission to orbit or land on the moon. He also serves as an active-duty naval aviator and flight surgeon. He is a walking, breathing masterclass in maximizing the potential of the human machine. But here is the most impressive metric of his entire life, and it has nothing to do with space or combat. We talked about his original chassis, a childhood defined by extreme tension, fear, and a shattered home. Statistically, generational trauma repeats itself. But Jonny completely broke the cycle. He married his wife in his mid-20s, right as he was navigating the heavy transition out of the military, and today, they are raising 3 children in a highly stable, loving, and supportive environment. Surviving Ramadi and hacking Harvard is incredible, but building a happy, peaceful family after enduring that level of domestic chaos? That is the absolute ultimate system override. Last, but definitely not least, we have to look at the legacy he leaves behind. When we analyzed David Goggins, we saw a man who uses brute force and pure pain to override his system. But Jonny Kim represents something different: cold, calculated, highly adaptable efficiency. From a German perspective, Jonny Kim is the ultimate architectural masterpiece of human capital. He didn't just smash his head against a wall. He learned how to dismantle the wall, study its engineering, and fly over it. There is no middle ground here. Drop your verdict in the comments. And if you're interested, you can sign up for my free newsletter. This uncompromising breakdown was explained by a German. I love writing, so I do it in my free time and put some surprises in there as well, because I really appreciate everyone who watches my videos. Thanks for watching, subscribe to the WarSim, and I'll see you in the next one.